Welcome to another episode of the Coaster101 podcast. I'm Andrew Stillwell in North Carolina, flying solo without anybody from the Coaster101 team this week. However, that doesn't mean I've come to your podcast alone, because that'd make for a very boring episode. Joining me this week are two legends in the theme park communications and social media game. We've got Chris Foshee from Worlds of Fun. Chris, how are you doing?
I'm good. You're too kind.
And we've also got the king of the rollers himself, Jefferson Richardson from Kentucky Kingdom. Jefferson, how's it going?
Hey, good, man. Thanks for having me.
First of all, Jefferson, I'm going to give it real quick. I mean, are we still calling them rollers? Are we calling them coasters? What are you guys doing over there at Kentucky Kingdom right now?
I mean, I think coasters is outdated. I mean, it's 2020. Things are changing. They're rollers now. I mean, come on. Worlds of Fun. Get on the train. It's rollers. Going back. Rollers. It's got to be.
Well, in that case, welcome to the Rollers 101 podcast.
There we go.
Anyway, this week we're going to be talking about social media. Obviously, it plays a huge role in the park experience these days. You know, not just to let the general public know that season passes are on sale, or park hours, or park availability, but it's also a way for enthusiasts to interact with the park. And Chris and Jefferson, you guys are you're two parks who kind of, get it from both perspectives. Obviously, you can put on your enthusiast hat and poke fun at the enthusiasts a little bit, but you can also, if you tweet things that the general public doesn't understand, they just kind of go with it. Fair to say for both of you?
Yeah, I think so. And first of all, I mean, kind of the smaller regional parks representing, right? I mean, I think that's quite an accomplishment to have Worlds of Fun in Kentucky Kingdom here. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And I think as, the trend and all of this COVID stuff, I think it's going to become more important. I think you're going to see that industry-wide, that you're going to see more of a shift towards communications, and social media is just more cost-effective, and it's an easier way to connect directly to your audience.
Right. So I guess we'll start with the basic question here. Jefferson, I'm going to start with you. How did you get your start in both theme park communications, but specifically social media?
No, yeah, it's a really weird story. No, I was just kind of doing graphic design, some social media around Louisville. And I mean, I went to Kentucky Kingdom as a kid. Like, it was Six Flags back then. I remember all that. And I think I bought a pass the first year Storm Chaser was there, because I mean, I lived not that far away. And I mean, it was just kind of in the back of my mind. But one day, literally, someone at work, she worked at Kentucky Kingdom as like a bartender. She was like, "Hey, Kentucky Kingdom needs some guy to come do their social media." And I was literally just like, okay, that sounds interesting. I kind of just looked up what they kind of had, and I was like, this is an amusement park social media. And I started looking at like a lot of other parks, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what an opportunity to like be different. And so literally walked in, and after the first interview, it was like, you need to meet Ed. And I was like, who's Ed? And after that, I met Ed Hart. And pretty much after that, I was like, okay, this is pretty insane. Like, they're asking for something pretty different and unique. So from then on out, literally not a coaster enthusiast, didn't know anything about roller coasters really, kind of just jumped into it. And then I found out the coaster community, and that was a kind of a shock, and try to learn. And I remember being quizzed throughout Kentucky Kingdom on who made what rides and stuff like that, and really just kind of fell into my lap. It was kind of spontaneous, but I mean, I'm happy I'm here. It's amazing, and it's met a lot of really great people through it.
When was that? How long have you been with Kentucky Kingdom?
Actually, last season was my first season. I think I joined the December, January, when Kentucky Flyer was like halfway built. Literally, like, I walked on scene the first day. They say, take videos of the new ride. And I was like, okay, where can I go?
There you go. And Chris, what about you?
I kind of cut my teeth doing digital marketing and social media for an agency and some freelance stuff here and there. But I kind of just fell into the Carowinds gig. Saw the opening, applied, interviewed, and luckily they just took a chance on me. That was back in 2015, and I mean, I hit the jackpot because as soon as I came in, we introduced Fury 325, and what an amazing ride! And literally and metaphorically, it was just it was hard not to get wrapped up into everything, and I just immediately fell in love with it. Not to mention just the possibilities of content, kind of going towards what Jefferson was saying. The possibility. At the time in Cedar Fair, it was just myself and another guy at Knott's Berry Farm. We were the only social media people hired, and since then we've picked up a little bit, but just plenty of opportunity to kind of make it my own and have fun with it.
I love it. And, Chris, that's how you and I obviously met for the first time. We go way back to my Caro blogger days at Carowinds. So let's talk a little bit about strategy. As I kind of touched on earlier, you're a little different than a lot of parks. You know how to have fun, you poke the bear, so to speak. What kind of goes into your content strategy? And Chris, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything kind of depends on the target audience and, whatever specific marketing goal you're going after. Once you determine that, it's all about creating a message and content that resonates with the audience and, finding a way to put it in front of them and make it stand out. Social media is a very noisy place. So you got to be bold and you got to be different. It's about being adaptive and agile. I think many times it appears to be maybe a fun and quirky piece of content, but really there's a specific purpose as it relates to whatever we're trying to accomplish. And, I think as any good content creator, we're basically cheerleaders. And I like to refer to myself as kind of a modern day carnival barker. I've got to sell it or no one else will. So, it's about translating that passion and, having fun with it, being authentic. And, I truly love what I do. And I think, I have fun making the content and I have fun making fun of coaster enthusiasts. And, also though, I mean, I like finding different ways to come up with season pass messaging and finding ways to target moms and all of that stuff and the A/B testing and the analytics. And I mean, I can really geek out, but I think it's a little bit of everything, just trying to get in where you fit in. And but overall, just being authentic and having fun.
Gotcha. Jefferson, you feel the
Yeah.
same way, or you
No,
kind of do your own
that
thing?
was crafted perfectly. No, yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's a lot of kind of, yeah, like a lot of it's like poking fun, but then again, we were representing an entire, we're not like we're not representing just like a few people. We're representing an entire brand, the entire park. So I think it's important that what we say in our messages not only are like our thoughts and like to promote things, but also I one thing that I came in, I wanted everyone that works at Kentucky Kingdom to feel part of the social media, feel like they had a say in it, feel like we can take a lot of like some random people's thoughts if they have thoughts, but we're really representing so many people through the social media because I mean obviously we have so many employees and team members and management. So yeah, that was perfectly said. And just being creative with how you sell to different people, and you can still poke at fun at coaster enthusiasts even though the GPs may go right over their head, but then the next post maybe that'll bring them right back in. So just kind of curating the content based on where it's going to go and who it's for.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely got to be a happy medium for you guys. I feel like, and Chris, when I was at Worlds of Fun last year, you got me in a video that was kind of poking fun at coaster enthusiasts, and Jefferson. Recently you guys got canceled, and then you're having the Canceled Kingdom event next year. What is the line that you guys have to like not necessarily cross, but is there difficulty giving content for both the quote unquote GP as well as the hardcore enthusiast who is going to they're your kind of your loudest cheerleaders and your loudest
Mm.
voice outside of the park?
Yeah, I mean, I think in actuality, I mean, the coaster community is a very small portion of our audience. They're an important part, sure, and they are loud, and we definitely appreciate their passion. But when you're approaching social media or digital marketing, you've kind of got to cast a wide net. And I think it goes back to picking your channel and finding your audience. For us, we kind of use Twitter, but just because that's where we see the most engagement with our coaster community, and it's
Hmm.
a wonderful channel where you don't have to get it to participate, really. If you don't understand the tweet, you just scroll right past it. But the ones that do get it have a lot of fun with it and engage with it. And yeah, so I think it's just about
Yeah.
kind of finding where you get in.
Yeah, I think the most fun is you can make a super broad tweet that is generally like meaning to sell season passes. Then again, that little hint that the coaster community understands. It's almost like that double, like the coaster enthusiasts see a different meaning of it versus like obviously our general audience, moms, families see, oh, they're trying to sell season passes. But it's the small little hints and subtle memes to say that kind of make it funny.
I mean, it's also to me, I think, just like, I don't know, man. Like, there's some dumb stuff out there, and it just like hits like fire. And I don't understand it. Like, I tweeted "Yo," it was our top tweet of August for no reason at all. Like,
Yeah,
I have,
that was
there's
exciting.
no
I was really hoping
reason.
you'd have to go back.
Yeah, I was going to mention that tweet, but you guys have both had your fair share of moments in the past couple of years. Chris, obviously, you went big viral, changing the name of Patriot to Patrick before the Super Bowl a couple years
Mhm.
ago, or the big game. I don't know if we're allowed to say Super Bowl on this podcast, so if you're the NFL, don't sue us. Um, but and then Jefferson, you've had your when Hagrid's opened last year, you said the Hagrid's line starts here in Kentucky Kingdom, and you had the tweet earlier this year about your water slide. And forgive me, I'm spacing on the name, but you're like, for
Spacing.
every 10 likes or retweets or whatever, we're gonna add 10 feet to this water slide,
Yeah.
which is kind of a play on your April Fool's Day joke. Jefferson, I'll start with you, but what is it like when a moment like that kind of just takes off and just goes ways that you didn't really expect it to go?
Well, I mean, of course, at first you're like, "This is a good idea," and then in like a few seconds later, after when you first hit tweet and you already have like 10 likes, you're like, "Okay, this one might be it. This one might be it." And then it continues and continues, and you're like, "This is a good tweet." And then it gets to a point where you're like, okay, I kind of wish it would. Okay, it's good. Like yo, like the Worlds of Fun tweet, yo. It's like, do I really want to have to tell whoever our top tweet of the month is this? Do I really want to tell Ed that I made Deepwater Dive a giga water slide, a space Deepwater Dive? Do I really want that to be like the thing that gets the most attention? But at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, I think to the point where I've had my April Fool's Day joke ran on the 5 o'clock news and T4 ran on the 5 o'clock news. Those are the points where I was like, okay, I had to be a little bit more careful with what I'm posting. but but then again, no, it's all fun, and I think yeah, not all publicity is good publicity, and to a stretch, but no, it's such a fun feeling, especially when you have other parks interacting, and I think it's really catching on, and like having tweets like whenever we can have all the parks kind of communicate through a tweet. That was really fun as well. But Worlds of Fun was there first, of course, and I wouldn't doubt them being there.
Chris, I mean, you've had your fair share of viral moments, and we'll talk Patrick and Patriot, but another video that just kind of blew up was the one I mentioned a little bit ago, was the stuff coaster enthusiasts say last year. That just was kind of it was a video that we filmed that I happened to be at the park that day. It was you, me, and your interns, and we filmed it in a day, and it took off on, I believe it was Twitter. It took off, and then it didn't really go anywhere in other platforms. I looked at the other day on YouTube, and it still had less than 1,000 views. And I'm watching you right now shake your head, and I'm sorry to bring that up.
No, I mean, Facebook's algorithm, like, I don't know, it's such a frustrating platform. YouTube, you know, you really got to spend a lot of time to build out that channel and get it going. And, there's only so much, time I have. So, it's really just about allocating it to where we can get, the biggest bang for our buck, so to say. But
Mm.
I don't know. Did you have a question or?
Yeah, sorry. I mean, what is it like when you go viral for something you've done in the park?
I mean, I don't know. There's really like no science behind it. I mean, being timely helps, but I think it just kind of starts with what Jefferson says, just an idea, and you just got to take a swing at it. And a lot of times you're like, this is going to be a great idea, and it falls flat. Sometimes you're like, this is stupid.
Hmm.
I'm just going to go put this sign on the roller coaster and match up. And next thing you know, it's on ESPN. And I mean, like that video. I mean, I had been thinking about doing that video for a while and finally got around to it. And it's fun. You kind of just you sit back and you're just like, wow, okay. You hold your breath, and it's fun and exciting to see your work kind of just pick up and people respond to it. And it's a double edged sword. It can be at sometimes. There's definitely a bit of risk that comes with that type of exposure. So if you're going to do it, make sure you're buttoned up and ready to go, which, I think we always are. But I loved, that Jefferson had his stuff, the jokes picked up by the news, because to me, I feel like that's just pure gold, because man, like it worked. Like, even if it wasn't true, like, come on, reporters, you got to do your homework. Like, pick
Oh,
up
I
the phone
know.
or something.
I don't want to take any like credit away from you, Jefferson, but as soon as you what you did, you did something that is rarely seen in theme park social media. You took what was a leak or proposed leak or something, you acknowledged it, you had your own fun with it, and I knew that as soon as that came out, we had to jump on board. So I crudely photoshopped that T4 logo, and we had some guy, I believe he's a fan of Kentucky Kingdom, he's a one of our social media followers. He said that logo made the 5 o'clock news, and that lit me up. I was so
Yeah.
excited.
It was insane. Like, I woke up the next morning with, and you wake up and you see this a lot of notifications on your phone. You're just like, what happened? What has happened? And then it's a lot of text messages from people that work in the park, and you're just like, what? But that T4 logo you made, outstanding. I don't think I could have done better myself. It was perfect. And I'm not gonna say Ed Hart has a T4 shirt on the way, but I do believe they've ordered him one, because after he heard about it, he absolutely loved the logo. He loved the idea. So but yeah, it's insane. But yeah, back to what Chris was saying about the algorithms. I wish we just had books on algorithms, because they don't make any sense. I know people have all their conspiracies about, I mean, TikTok algorithms, which is a completely different thing. All these algorithms. At one point, I remember just making 10 posts a day on Facebook, and the stupidest one would literally go like get the most amount of likes. Like, how many ducks are in the duck pond? Out of all these fantastic crafted tweets on Facebook, how many ducks are in the duck pond? Oh, this is the greatest thing ever. Shares, retweets, or shares on Facebook is insane. But yeah.
Got it. Well, I'm gonna go back a little bit earlier this season. Obviously, the world got a little crazy in the early spring, and you guys were both closed for a period of time. And come to find out, just before we started this podcast, you guys had never talked in person, and had never really met each other. However, you guys, there was a day that you kind of just set Twitter on fire. You had a rap battle between the two of you. Do you guys want to talk about how that came about?
I think I don't even know. I think maybe I responded.
You messaged me first. Well, Junk Riders, they tweeted, we want to see a rap out. And then you messaged me because I was like, I don't know. And you said, you want to do this? And I was like, heck yeah, there's nothing else going on. Like, it was literally dead. Social media was dead. It was awful.
Yeah.
There were some good jabs thrown both sides there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I still have nightmares about need a new coaster, better call your mommy and daddy, Cedar Fair, or something like that. I mean, that was a
Oh,
burn.
shoot. No, well, when you pulled out Six Flags, because that was an emotional attachment for me. Because I mean, I don't talk about that. That's my childhood. I was like, no way he pulled that out. And I saw that, I was like, boom! Started writing out all these lyrics on my phone. I was pacing around the room. I was like, man, this is intense. Like, my heart was beating. That was intense. That was fun.
Yeah, you got to go hard in the paint, But again, it's all about it's about having fun and making the best of any situation. I mean, I think Jefferson and I kind of the
Mm-hmm.
same boat. Like we're kind of smaller regional parks. We haven't added a 300-foot coaster. Um, we don't always get the shiniest new capital. We've got to find ways to stay relevant and stay connected with our community, and it's just stuff like that. But yeah, I mean that was a good day. I remember like firing off that first tweet and back, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be good. And like I had my
Mm-hmm.
teams chat up, and all the other Cedar Fair parks were like, "What?" Like,
I want to know what do they think about your guys' social media? Like, what does Grace and all of them think about your what you do specifically? Just curious.
yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, we have a lot of talented people on the Cedar Fair team for sure. I think we all have the freedom, in a sense, to kind of put our own creativity and our own personalities into our social media. I think I might push that a little hard sometimes, or but
Hmm.
they enjoy it. I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just good fun. We always kind of share ideas back and forth, and especially during a very slow start of the spring when there wasn't much going on. It's
yeah,
just like, okay, what can we
yeah.
post?
I was scared you're gonna pull out a mob on us. I was like, man, they got the whole Cedar Fair crew that's going to pull up on me. And who am I gonna call? Holiday World? I don't know who I'm gonna call to back me up because they ain't coming.
Don't have any old Six Flags connections you could maybe dial up?
I wish. Maybe call in Chang or maybe New Jersey up there. Maybe they help out. They have a few of our rides.
If somebody was looking to get into the field you guys are in, what would be like your biggest piece of advice for them?
I would say personally, I think you're saying specifically amusement park social media marketing.
Or communications or marketing or
Communications. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I think obviously you have to really be open-minded because you're not always creating content that you would like. Because I mean, obviously, like you have to put yourself in the shoes of moms, families, coaster enthusiasts, whoever it is. You really have to kind of be able to train your mind to be able to step inside their shoes, whatever they want to do at an amusement park, whatever they want to do wherever you're working. So I think it's important to obviously keep your mind open. You can't get fixed in your ways. I think you have to have a very just open, broad understanding. And also, I mean, I think you need to have your hand in a lot of buckets in the terms of like, I mean, we do music, we do video, we do Photoshop, we do all kinds of like, you almost like, I think you have to keep your concentration very broad because you're going to do a lot of things you've probably never done, like taking photos, videos, going out and just doing things you've never done. But then again, being able to learn those skills on the fly and just make the best of what you have. Because I mean, we both, like we said, we don't have crazy budgets to work with. I can't go out there and film basically a documentary or a crazy good commercial for Kentucky Kingdom. So I mean, you kind of have to be able to work with what you have and just kind of be grateful for what you have and make the best out of it. That's what I would say.
That's what you guys have Taylor Bybee though for, to do documentaries about the park.
Exactly. That's why we have him.
Chris, what about you? Any advice?
Yeah, I mean, I think just in general, I think it all starts with reading. What we do is storytelling, and it's all about being an effective communicator. So, that combined with, just polishing up your creative skills, take your camera, explore with it, um, really just, if you're not good at it at first, that's fine, but like, just push the boundaries, be different. Don't be afraid to be different. Don't try to post the same thing that everyone else is doing. Really just explore, let your mind run wild. And lastly, I think you have to, specifically, I don't know if I can speak outside of the amusement park world here, but I mean, you have to love it and you have to have thick skin. I mean, there are some days where I feel like a human punching bag, and there are actual studies that say that social media managers' mental health is suspect. I mean, and I can totally understand that. I mean, some days are difficult and you read the same old things, you just pour your heart into a piece of content and all they say is worlds of fun, build a new coaster. I mean, it hurts my feelings, Andrew. Like, all I want is your like and for you to move on, okay? I don't need you to point out that we need a new coaster. It's been since 2009. I get it. If I could build a new coaster, I would, Andrew. Anyway.
Okay. I hear what you're saying, but I do have one question. And when is Worlds of Fun getting that new coaster? I'm
Well,
kidding. I'm
you
kidding.
know,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You don't have to answer that. I do have a question though, just kind of as and this, you guys may or may not be able to answer this in a professional capacity, but when you see those comments on Facebook that are just like, oh, does
It's
it,
funny how you knew it was
how much,
Facebook.
yeah, it's always, almost always Facebook, but
Always.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. How much restraint does it take from you to like not go in with like a burner account and just light somebody up?
I think it's I think I can speak for Chris as this. I think because we are attached to our social media in a way, unlike I think some other time, we're kind of our faces are attached. So when you do get canceled or you do have something with the park, you're almost attached and being canceled as well. So I think that's one thing that you have to keep in mind. But I don't usually have the tendency to kind of lash out, but sometimes just add a little bit of like, well, thanks for your feedback. Or I think one thing that's helped is the gifts. I love gifts. Just responding with a GIF is just so perfect because you can literally say the most perfect with the face tone and everything. The GIF responses are a go to. But no, I think you can't take it too personally. Even though I do agree with you if you do make a post and that does happen, it is crushing. But then again, going home and just forgetting it next day and that's one thing where the passion comes in and the love for the park and just knowing that for all those people that are giving you hate, there's probably hopefully 100 others that feel the opposite of that.
yeah, dead on. I think, especially Facebook seems to be just a popular place for people just share random opinions about things, and everyone is an expert on social media. Everyone knows what you should do, and here's why, and you just got to take it with a grain of salt. I mean that is the platform that we work in. They're there. You kind of just gotta brush it off and get past it. One thing that I thoroughly enjoy, and one of the reasons that I absolutely, uh, I really appreciate the coaster community and all of our fans is, you spend time building up the community and these relationships, and by doing good content and good customer service, and it extends past social media. I mean, what they do in the park is hands down where the connections are made. We just kind of, we're just a virtual hug and a reminder, but you build those relationships and then you have those people with the unnecessary comments and you're like, man, I want to say something to that person. And then one of you guys or a fan of the park just swoops in and just shares that comment and says exactly what I wanted to say. And it's just such a great feeling. I just want to give you guys all the high fives for that. So, um, that's definitely, the silver lining.
So you heard it here first. While Chris cannot dunk on people, he encourages everyone else to do so in a courteous manner.
Oh, do it. No, no hardcore dunk. I want over the rim, over the backboard.
I want to talk about GIFs real quick because Chris, I know you like Jefferson are you're a GIF user. I guess first question is it GIF or is it GIF like the peanut butter?
I recently I've heard a lot of GIF, but I've always just gone with GIF. I don't know. That's how I was raised. GIF.
It's good. Yeah.
Good. I knew you guys were good people because that's the correct answer, and anyone who says otherwise is wrong. But do you have any favorite gifts that you use on a regular basis, either social media or not?
I mean, within the worlds of fun, I try to stick, towards like branding gifts. So I use a lot of peanuts. There's one where Linus is holding his blanket in the field as the wind's blowing. That's a solid one. So I usually just try to work in there.
Got it. Jefferson, you're not really held to any
Yeah,
brand guidelines.
that's what I was gonna say. I pretty much don't have any guidelines. So I mean, honestly, it depends who's going towards. I love to use SpongeBob. SpongeBob's my go-to. It's my favorite show of all time. Most of the time, it's a SpongeBob or Office gift, just because those are the ones I go for. But just depending on whatever it is, I mean, there's a lot of great movies, and depending on who it is, I think you can kind of understand who you're talking to, what generation they're from, or what they might understand. So, but yeah, no guidelines here. Maybe a bad thing.
Could be, or it could be a really good thing. You never know.
Exactly.
Uh, Chris, I want to ask you. I'm going to ask you a direct question about something you did earlier this year, and then Jefferson, I'm going to follow up with a question about something you did. But Chris, a video you did earlier this year was the ride lineup for Worlds of Fun using only stock video footage. Where did that come from?
I would love to say that everything in that video is true, that I went to bed and I dreamed about it and I woke up and I was like, that'll never work. And then I dreamed it all out. That's not true. I believe it was the Jacksonville. No, it was the LA Chargers had a scheduled release video like a couple of years ago. I mean, and if you want to look at some great social media content, when the NFL teams put out their calendar, their schedules, just pure gold. The Panthers absolutely nailed it this year. It's probably my favorite piece of social media content ever. Look it up, Carolina Panthers 2020 schedule release. But anyway, I think I saw that and I was kind of just sitting on it and at the house bored, trying to wait for us to open and just thought I'd take a crack at it to see if I could pull it off. And it turned out pretty good. It was a lot of fun to make.
Yeah, there's some gold videos, and we'll post this on the or repost it on our social channels once this episode comes out, and it'll be in the episode post on the website as well. There were some really good ones in there. I'm trying to think. The one there was like a plane landing somewhere. I cannot even remember what the ride was, but it just made so much sense. And I remember looking at that video and I was like, he nailed this one. That was good.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's all about having fun with what we do. I mean, we're really blessed to have the creative freedom and the avenue to express ourselves or to try things and working in an amusement park, endless stories forever. I mean, could never really run out of content ideas if you try hard enough.
No.
Yeah, so it was a fun one to kind of just run with.
I enjoyed your right before we started your "Hello, darkness, my old friend" on the wall. That one was pretty funny.
The sad pandas, man.
I'm still convinced that's that new roller coaster tease, and I've looked way too far into it already, as Chris can attest to.
I think you overlooked Joe. I'm just saying.
And Jefferson, obviously, you guys, a rarity in this current year. You guys did a coaster enthusiast event for the first time this year.
Yeah.
Keys to the Kingdom.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah, like obviously you did the event for enthusiasts by enthusiasts. I mean, it was kind of like that old PBS show that was for kids by kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of what went into that is I'm not really asking why Coaster101 wasn't on the panel of influencers, but
Of course, yeah.
don't have to answer that as why, but kind of what went into all the planning for that, and how did you guys set to make yourselves different from every other ace event out there?
No, yeah, I mean, of course, I've said this. We can't pull out all of the tricks in the under our sleeve yet. So I mean, there's gonna be many more panels and many more of our. Maybe that was our B team. Maybe that was our B list. Maybe we're gonna pull out our A list next year. Maybe it's the year after that. Who knows?
Okay.
No, but that event was super fun. I had actually never really been to a coaster enthusiast event, and so we started planning this, and I think that might be the one of the best things about me coming to an amusement park, like not knowing anything about it, because you don't have any stipulations, you don't really have any way of thinking about it. So you do something, and no one has ever seen it, and kind of thinking outside the box, and that's what the event was. Just like what I did with the social media when I started, because I didn't know anything about it. I just saw what I did, some things I didn't want to do with it. So I mean, being able to just be like, can we do this? And they're like, why would they want to do that? And I'm like, well, why wouldn't they want to do that? Has any other park ever let them do that? And just things like that, and kind of thinking of ideas that maybe no other event has thought of, and just kind of thinking, how could we curate our event to the coast enthusiasts? And like we said, it was I think most people that work in Kentucky Kingdom are essentially coaster enthusiasts at this point. I mean, we may not know as much about the statistics and the bolts and the screws of a roller coaster, but I think we know what they want and what they want to see. So that was really fun, just kind of like thinking of how would we want to be able to walk through the park. We walked through a few times on how it was all going to work, and yeah, I think it was a great event. I hope we have a lot of feedback to work with right now, and I think next year's going to be just as fun. I'm excited. We already had a meeting about what we're going to do next year, and heard some crazy ideas that I can't wait. I can't wait if they work out.
We're very excited for the T4RT.
Oh yeah, I can't wait either.
I'm gonna let you guys plug anything you want to plug, and Chris, I will go with you first.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a whole lot. We finished our season here following Labor Day. Getting ready for the 2021 season, and I think we're all kind of just ready to get this year over with and get it behind us. Look for greener pastures and um, I'm telling you, Halloween Haunt. I'm really gonna miss it. That's my favorite time of the year. That's my favorite time to produce content. Period. I mean, because you can really just change your messaging and really have some fun with it. So, but 2021 we have Riptide Raceway. It's the world's longest mat racing slide. It's going to be opening up oceans of fun. So we're excited about that. Looking forward to getting back to normal, returning events like Grand Carnival, which was a huge hit our first year, a lot of fun. Everyone was looking forward to that this summer. Halloween Haunt, like I mentioned, and all of our other events. Just ready to kind of get back to some normalcy. Follow us on social media, obviously. Just type in Worlds of Fun into the Google machine. I'm sure you can find us.
Perfect. Jefferson, let's hear your plugs.
My plugs, yeah, no, I think back to what you're saying. Sad, we started Hollow Scream last year for the first time since I think 10, 11 years since it was Fright Fest. So yeah, hopefully next year we'll get back to Hollow Scream. That was a super fun time last year for the first time. Also, we're selling season passes right now for $49.95, which holy crap, that's a low price. And who knows, it might stay that for a while. We don't know. I don't make those decisions, but $49.95 for a season pass, including hopefully we have Hollow Scream and some events. Also, this year we were supposed to have a new show. We're supposed to have All Star Stunt Dogs, but sadly, a lot of our shows didn't happen this year. So we'll have Sea Lions next year, All Star Stunt Dogs, hopefully, and we'll also have Avian Adventure, which is a really dope bird show. I'm not the biggest fan of birds, but these birds are insane. And also our 5D theater. We had two new shows set up. Pacific Rim and Yogi Bear. Pretty excited those. So hopefully next year, yeah, we'll just get back to normal. And yeah, Kentucky Kingdom on TikTok now. I don't know how everyone feels about TikTok. TikTok's a weird place, but Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, all those places. We had to explain TikTok to Ed yesterday, and
How did that go?
it was interesting. I mean, he loves to learn about all kinds of things like that. But TikTok, you just can't explain to some people. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I don't even like understand TikTok in my own head just because I just the way it works. But no, yeah, it was interesting. I maybe he'll be in the next video. Who knows?
I feel like so much of what we do, trying to explain it out loud with words, it just sounds ridiculous. Like
Oh,
it's crazy.
it's insane.
But in the best way possible,
Yeah,
right?
I also want to plug Jefferson and I are going to take our hip hop rap. We're going to go on tour this fall. We're going to start
of
on the
course.
West Coast. Hopefully, keep a social distance. We're gonna drop that new LP out too.
Yeah.
Drake
Oh yeah.
talked about
We've been
songs.
writing all off season, all season. Yeah. I mean, we have tons of stuff in the bank.
House of Rollers, check it out.
You heard it here first. The debut album of Chris Foshee and Jefferson Richardson hitting store shelves in time for holiday 2020. Pick it up at your local Target, maybe.
It's actually only at Big Lots.
Only at Big Lots.
Yeah. We're actually going to sell one song at every major retailer. So you got to pick them all
Ooh,
up in order to listen to the whole entire album together, complete.
That's how we drop that content.
I love it. It's like the
Exactly.
Funko Pops of rap music.
Content calendars.
Well, given that breaking news, we're going to have to wrap this podcast up. Like Chris said, follow Worlds of Fun at Worlds of Fun on all their socials.
TikTok and Snapchat is Worlds of Fun KC. Because
okay, so they're on Worlds of Fun at Worlds of Fun, and then TikTok and Snapchat are at Worlds of Fun KC. And Kentucky Kingdom is Kentucky Kingdom across all platforms. If you're listening to this podcast, be sure to follow us on social media as well at Coaster101. Maybe we'll also get Ed Hart in a TikTok video. We'll see. If you've got any comments, questions, concerns about the show, feel free to drop us an email at podcast@coaster101.com. Be sure to like, rate, review, subscribe, all the things that help people find this podcast. Please do them because we would like more people to hear this interview with Jefferson and Chris. Quick shout out to Justin Mabry of JM Music Design for our theme music. And that does it for this week. We'll talk to you all again soon.